Good evening, gentlemen. Hope you are doing well. And anybody have any concern relating to element 1, which we covered yesterday?
No, sir. It was clear, sir.
Okay, anybody have any doubt? Feel free to ask. No problem. I am here to repeat. I am here to make you understand. Even I need to repeat it 10 times. For me, it's not a problem. I will do it.
Sure, sir.
Okay, now we are going to start our element 2. You can see my screen.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, management of international health and safety. Element 2 is health and safety management system. Okay, so number 1, what are the learning outcomes? After covering this element, we will be able to outline the key elements of a health and safety management system, explain the purpose and importance of setting policy for health and safety, describe the key features and appropriate content of an effective health and safety policy. So what are the key elements of a health and safety management system? Here are we have 4 items: plan, do, check, act. ILO-OSH 2001 Safety and Health Management System follows the PDCA cycle. PDCA, plan, do, check, act. Plan what you are going to do, then do it, practical implementation, and then check if it's working well or no, and then act if after the checking, after the third step, once you check and you found that it's working well or not well, or what are the areas need improvement, then act accordingly. So this is known as plan, do, check, act, PDCA cycle. So safety management system, here very important thing: policy, number 1, then organizing, how to do and who will do, planning and implementing, then implementation of that policy. From implementation, we are going into multi-direction. We are doing the evaluation. Evaluation is audits, inspections, surveys, samplings. It's a type of monitoring. It's a type of identifying the benefits of that implementation and of that policy or procedure. And from evaluation, the evaluators or the reviewers, they develop or they suggest an action plan, what they need to improve, what are the areas need to be improved and how to be improved. Then the auditors or the assessors, they are suggesting a time frame and prioritize the observations. Then it's again going for the audit, and the same procedure we are doing again after the recommendations of the auditors. So the key elements of OHS, it's very important: policy, organizing, planning, evaluation, action for improvement, audits. So these are the 5 basic steps, 6 basic steps which we are going to follow. So we will go through by each step one by one. The system should develop over time to ensure continual improvement. When any system we are developing, there is a time frame, like in this system or in this procedure things will happen like that. This will come first, this will come second, this will come third, like that. It will happen like that in any system or procedure as it's described by the procedure. So what is policy? A clear statement of commitment to health and safety. It is generated and signed by the top management. It's authenticated by the top management to ensure that everyone is following the policy of the organization. Organizing roles and responsibilities of health and safety at all levels in the organization. Planning and implementation, detailed arrangements to manage health and safety, risk assessments, procedures. Evaluation is method to monitor and review the effectiveness of the arrangements. Action for improvement, steps to correct issues found in the review. So the evaluation is a review process. In the review, the evaluator or the reviewer or the assessor, they find out some drawbacks, some areas of improvement, some areas of other opportunities. So then they are developing and giving an action plan. Then action for improvement, like what are the steps or what are the procedures need to improve, what things need to added in the system or in the procedure. And what is audit? Audit is an independent, critical and systematic review of the management system. It's very important, these 6 steps. So we will go by these steps one by one in the coming chapters. What are the key elements of the OHS health and safety management system? We have just discussed these steps. including policy, planning, implementation, evaluation, action for improvement, and audits. So, Unit 2 is purpose and importance of setting policy for health and safety. Why we need to set health and safety policy in the workplace or in any organization? The reason is the health and safety policy is very important document. It set the foundation stone for good health and safety standards, safety management in the organization. It set out the organization's aims. In health and safety policy, it's clearly mentioned the goals, aims, targets, objectives of the organization. That's why it's very important. Once you read the policy of an organization in health and safety manners, once you are a safety professional, you will come to know how much they are sincere in implementing health and safety in their organization. Then here it's mentioned that who is responsible for achieving these aims, like its allocation of roles and responsibilities, states how the aims to be achieved, and it also identify and describes that how the organization is going to achieve the set targets and goals specific to each organization. Yeah, every organization have their own health and safety policy. It differs as per a nature of the work, scope of the work, environment of the work, number of employees, number of activities, nature of the job. It differs. So every organization have their own different and their commitment and their safety behaviors. So it all make the policy differ from organization to organization. So why might the health and safety policy of two organizations why might the health and safety policy of two organizations be different? Why it's different? Because of many reasons I have just mentioned. So let me explain you again why it's a difference. The health and safety policy of an organization is an important document that set out organization's aims with regards to health and safety, their responsibilities, achieving the aims, how they will achieve, who is responsible to achieve, and nature of the work. So why might two organizations doing similar work have different policies? Yeah, it's an important question. Why the two organizations, organization A and B, they are doing the same jobs? Just to say that they are constructing the villas or they are constructing the buildings, same building in same area, but their policy is different. Why? It should reflect the particular circumstances of the individual organization, their hazard identification process, their risk assessment, their perception, and their priority towards the risk. These things make the OHS policy different from organization to organization, even they are doing the same job. My screen is clear with you?
Yes,
नो
sir,
सर
it's
ओपन
clear.
नहीं है स्लाइड ओपन
Yeah, you can see
Sir,
this.
वो
हाँ अभी ठीक है अभी ठीक है
Okay, you can see the slides. Okay, fine. So here the next element, key features and content of health and safety policy. So just keep in mind that we are just discussing health and safety policy. First we discuss why it's important, what is the importance, and then we discuss why it's different from organization to organization. What are the key content of the HSE policy? Now the key features and content of a health and safety policy. What are the key features? Statement of intent. It's a statement of intent. Every organization have HSE policy. In this, they are mentioning or describing that what's going to be done, what they are going to do, and how they are going to do. Organization, who is going to do arrangements, how these arrangements to be done, how this to be done. Then setting general statement of intent, setting overall aims and objectives. In health and safety policy, the organization is setting their overall aims and objectives, a generic aims and objectives of the organization, what they want to do, and it's a compliance with law. Legally, it's required by the organizations to develop and sign and written policy, and it need to be communicated with every employee of the organization. Then it helps to achieving the standards. What are the standards set by international or local authorities or international agencies relating to health and safety? It helps to achieve that standards. Remind workers at all level of their responsibilities. Yeah, it remind to all workers that everyone is responsible for the implementation of health and safety, and everyone is responsible to promote health and safety culture in the organization. Signed and dated by the most senior person. Why it's signed and dated by the most senior person? Because it shows the commitment of the top management. When when a policy is signed by the senior most managers or directors or the CEO of the organization, the employees or the management, middle management, junior management, they will read and they will understand the importance of the document. Because if document is less important, it can be signed by a middle manager or a site base or a project manager. But when it's signed by the top of the directors from the governing bodies, it means it's something very important. It shows the importance of the document, and it need to be reviewed regularly so that any changes, any legal or procedural changes can be updated in the HSE policy. So targets may be included in the statement of intent to show commitment to improvement. What targets could be included? It's a general question. In an HSE policy, the targets and aims are mostly included, like what we are going to do or what we are going to improve. So here we have organization section. Here I will explain you. Outline the chain of command, and please mute your mic. So here in the organization section, outline the chain of command for health and safety management. Here we are describing that who is responsible in the top management for health and safety, and then identify the roles and responsibilities of staff like senior managers or the middle managers, operation managers, floor managers, shift and charges, their personal or individual roles and responsibilities. It usually includes an organization chart relating to health and safety. Okay, a chief executive officer, then health and safety directors, then brown, like they categorize like black, brown, and in other shapes, or we are categorizing the senior management, middle management, junior management, or site-based management. So usually includes an organization chart. It have an organization chart explains a step-by-step procedure and protocol who is responsible from the top to the bottom of implementing or organizing the health and safety policy. Show lines of communications and feedback. It also provide a detailed brief how it to be communicated and who is responsible for that. Defines roles and responsibilities. The CEO or MD are ultimately responsible and accountable. That's why it's assigned by the top management of the organization, like CEO or the managing director. Once they sign means they authenticate this document and they are ultimately responsible to achieve the targets and objectives mentioned in the health and safety policy. So management responsible for day-to-day management. The senior management like the project managers, operations managers, they are responsible to manage day-to-day activities, how it's going on the site, how its implementation on the site, and how the benefits they are getting from that implementation. All employees are responsible for acting safely. Competent persons, first aiders, fire marshals, flagmen, banksmen, these are the competent persons. The competent supervisors, competent rescue procedure operations, all these employees who are competent. It also give a details like the competent people will command over the workplace for everything, like in case of an emergency, in case of a fire incident in an office, who is responsible to evacuate all the employees from the building, who is responsible to count down them, to check the numbers of the employees, who is responsible to ensure that the people of special care, the people with special needs are already evacuated safely from the building or from the premises. So specialist health and safety practitioner responsible for providing advice to support management and employees. Yeah, health and safety professionals, they are hired in the organizations to provide advice on legal and health and safety standards. They provide advice what we are going to do, how to teach the employees, how to make them understand about health and safety standards. Then arrangement section describe how things are done. In arrangements, it's written that how the things to be done, how to implement that policy, how to achieve these goals and aims practically. Detailed description of policies and procedures, usually long document, often separate from the policy document, unique to each organization. Every organization have their own. And arrangement section, so here we have an example of topic carrying out risk assessment, information, instruction and training. These all are the arrangement section. These all are the bullet points for the arrangement section. Like we will carry out the risk assessment, we will give training, we will give adequate information, we will ensure the compliance and monitoring. It includes audits, inspections, surveys, workplace inspections, accident and near miss reports, recording and injury records, like how many accidents happen in the workplace. These are also a type of monitoring equipments. Consultation with workers. Consultation means you are giving them information and taking feedback from them. You are asking the employees, is the implemented system is good enough to save them, to keep them safe on the workplace, or is it making your workplace safe or no? So taking their feedback also. Developing safe system of work, how to perform a job step by step. Suppose in a steel fabrication yard, there are many steps included, like steel coming from the outside, unloading from the trailer, stacking properly, having safe logistic, having adequate logistic arrangements, signages, etc., etc., safe stacking, demarcation, and then taking bar by bar and then cutting of the steel and binding of the steel and then again storing or distributing to the different sections. So this is a safe system procedure. They can develop a safe system of procedure by 111, by giving the bullet points, and also can be provided with the pictures, diagrams, like this job need to done in these manners, how to operate the binding machine, how to use the cutting machines, the cutters for the steel. Welfare and first aid provisions, fire safety and prevention, emergency procedures, these all are the emergency section, arrangement section of OHS management system. Like in case of emergency, what to do and who will do the emergency evacuation or who will do the countdown. So here is an individual activity. Can you think of any other specific health and safety hazards? Write down as many as you can think of which you believe should be included in the arrangement section of health and safety policy. So guys, you can go through by health and safety policy. I will share the notes with you and same like yesterday. So just write down any hazard, any other thing which you want or which you think it need to be included in health and safety policy. So specific risk and problems, loan working, these are specific for the projects. Like when we have started a work in the project, any shape, any type of work, we need to encounter the loan working, noise, vibration, hazardous substances, control of contractors, transport risk. These are the typical risks which we have on our workplaces. Because every workplace, there is a chance of loan working. There is a use of tools and equipment, so noise and vibration. Hazardous substances, chemicals are being used. And control of contractors, different companies are coming, are joining for the completion of the project. So we need to control their behaviors, their use of tools and equipments, access, blah, 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 blah. So some reasons for review. Why we need to review health and safety policy? If there is a major change in key personnel in the management of the organization, ownership, process change, suppose that there is a big change in technology, the whole process of performing the job or completing the job has been changed, then health and safety policy need to be reviewed. Legislation, if there is a change in legislation, a major change in legislation, or the government authorities set up new standards or they publish new standards for health and safety policy, then policy need to be reviewed. And if there is an incident or accident happened in the organization, it need to be reviewed. If there is an enforcement action taken, like an enforcement authority visited your workplace, visited your organization's offices or your project, and they found some non-compliances with the legal standards, and then they took enforcement or disciplinary action against you in shape of fine or any other notices, then you need to review your health and safety policy. After audit, after an health and safety audit, if the auditors found non-compliances, non-conformities in major level in your organization, you need to review the health and safety policy. After worker consultation, taking the feedback from the workers, the management or the management representative talking to the workers and taking their feedback. Are you happy with the arrangements for health and safety in the workplace? If they are not happy or if there are more complaints, then it need to be reviewed. And annually, that is a periodic review for the health and safety policy. Here we have international standard for policy. Article 14 of International Labour Organization, recommendation 164. Recommendation 164, it requires employees to set down in written and arrangements for health and safety management. where circumstances warrant it in readily understood language or medium. Yeah, it must be in a language which is easily understand for all employees of the organization. It must not having some jargon or some difficult language which is not readable and not understandable by the employees. So what are the three key parts of health and safety policy? Anyone can answer that? Yes, guys, what are the key parts of health and safety policy? We have just discussed the statement of intent, importance, arrangement section, how to achieve. Organization section highlights the roles and responsibilities and the arrangements of provision, how to provide, who is responsible to provide these resources. So what type of targets may be referred in policy and where? What type of targets can be referred? The statement of intent may also set targets for the organization to achieve. Possible targets might relate to accident rates, achieving reduction, zero incidents, zero accidents in the workplace, reduction in the sickness record, reduction in the safety violations. These all can be included in health and safety policy. So let me move to. So guys, that's it. This element is very small. So we have finished this one. Anybody have any question? Any doubt? Adnan, Nasser, any issue in this element?
नो सर, सॉरी, मैं आज गाँव आया हूँ तो